Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Bob Sokolowski. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for the Westchester Area School District. And welcome to our high school cyber program open house. During our session, and I will turn things over to Dr. Kristen Barnello in just a few minutes, we will go through all of the course selection information for Westchester Cyber High School students for next school year. And we will be able to, going through that presentation, detail many things. We are also joined here by Miss Chelsea Samaroni, who is our cyber coach for all of our secondary students in the cyber program. We have also joining us running everything behind the scenes, Dr. Mary Beth Clifton and Mr. Christopher Cromwell, who are instructional technologists supporting not just the cyber program, but the entire district. So we are going to go through just some of the important elements of the cyber program, but I first wanted to start with just some general information for parents as we are here on February 2nd and looking forward to next school year. I want to share that at this time, our plan for next school year is that we will have an in-person program for our students, not a remote option, as many parents know that we have. So our virtual option will be next year our cyber program. So we want to be clear, that is as of right now. And so hopefully as conditions for the pandemic continue to improve, vaccination rates increase, that'll become, I think, more crystallized as we move later into the winter and into the early spring. But just some reasons why you may want to choose the Westchester Cyber program. One would be just if you're looking at a cyber charter, I would really encourage you to consider the Westchester Area School District first, because your students would still very much be a part of their home high school. So whether they attend East, Henderson, or Ruston, they are still going to be able to be involved in all the extracurriculars, the athletics, school events, musical ensembles. They have all of those sort of rights and privileges of being a part of the Westchester Area School District. And as we know for our high school students do have the option that if they would like to take maybe just one or two courses online through the cyber program, that they're welcome to do that. That was something that was a part of our comprehensive planning. And when we looked at something that was incredibly important for high school students as we looked at the future years, it was to offer that flexibility in their scheduling. You remember about a year and a half ago, as a school district, we were, for the secondary level, in the midst of late start times. And one thing that we knew was that the cyber program would be coming. So if students wanted to have that kind of flexibility, whether it was a late arrival to school or an early dismissal for school, they would be welcome to do that through the cyber program. The cyber program offers just tremendous flexibility because of its asynchronous nature. We do have students in our program that are really competitive gymnasts, ice hockey players, involved in theater, and their passions that they have outside of school, there may be at times when their schedules conflict with the regular high school schedule. So those are some key elements as to why you would want to consider Westchester Cyber. So at this time, I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Barnello, who's our lead administrator for the secondary program for the cyber students. And she is going to walk through just a lot of the details, and she's going to be joined by Ms. Chelsea Samarone to go through in quite detail the high school level for our cyber students. Dr. Barnello?
Thank you so much. So as Dr. Sokolowski said, the Westchester Cyber Program for our high school students was really designed to offer a great deal of flexibility for our students. So tonight you're going to hear us talk about some of our full-time students as well as our part-time students. And we do offer that flexibility so that students have the option to complete all their graduation requirements in cyber, or to take that blend of some in-person as well as some online classes. Before we get into our program, I do think it's important that we hear from our students. So here's what one of our current high school students say about her experiences in the Westchester Cyber Program.
Hi, my name is Kate and I'm a high school student. I have found that the cyber program has been very helpful to my busy schedule being a competitive swimmer. I love that I can complete my work whenever I want throughout the day and at my own pace. and I can reach out to teachers whenever I need help. I also like that you can be in touch with your teachers while not having to sit on Zoom the whole day.
As Kate shared, the flexibility of the program allows students to travel for their competitions or training schedules. I've had parents reach out to me that their student who was training and had a competition actually in Canada. So if they needed to, send in travel forms or anything and knew that she was going to be able to complete her academic work, we didn't have to do that. So it does offer that great flexibility for students who have that demanding schedule, but it also offers flexibility for students, as Dr. Sokolowski said, who maybe want to come into school later, who want an early dismissal so they can have an internship or go to work, or maybe they have other family responsibilities. So the flexibility built within our program is probably one of our strongest assets. I would also say our teachers, the fact that we have all of our teachers are Westchester Area School District teachers, and we can put into the chat thread some of our newsletters that are also available online. Each month we highlight one of our middle school and high school teachers and to share with you some of the successes that they've had both inside and outside the classroom and their professional experiences. Truly in our program, both in building and in the cyber program, we literally have doctors and lawyers and true scientists and research scientists who are teaching our students. And I think that experience that they're bringing to the classroom just enriches our academics so much. As a reminder, throughout the evening, we are collecting questions live from our audience. So you'll see the bit.ly on the screen that we will also drop into our chat thread. So again, the Westchester Cyber Program, we do have our leadership team. I am the administrator, so essentially the principal for your students in the cyber program. Your students are still enrolled in their home building, so you will receive communication from the high school principals as well, along with any other building specific updates regarding athletics or clubs activities, proms, dances, all those social events that are critically important for our high school students. Additionally, this evening, you'll see Chelsea Samaroni, who is our cyber coach. She is based out of Fugate Middle School in our cyber center. We also have Dr. Clifton and Mr. Cromwell with us tonight. They are two of our instructional technology coordinators. They're doing a lot of the behind the scenes tonight in our cyber program. They work with our teachers and our students to ensure that we have all the technology that our students need to be successful, as well as coaching of our teachers and students to help them find success in a cyber environment. Learning as a full-time cyber student is very different than being in person. And so now I want to pass it along to Ms. Chelsea Samaroni. She's going to share some of the supports that we have built to ensure that all students are able to find their academic success in the Westchester Cyber Program.
Thanks, Dr. Varnello. So one of the biggest perks that is a part of the cyber program, whether or not you in the high school level are full-time or part-time, is the Cyber Center. This is where I am based out of. This is essentially the central hub for the Cyber Center. It's located on the second floor of Fugate Middle School. It's a really cool place to be. We had it outfitted with some really neat and helpful instructional furniture to allow for independent work, which is very popular among many of our high school students who use the center just to have a space to concentrate on their work. I do work one-on-one with our students, mostly via Zoom this year, but I do have students coming in for those supports in person. We mostly work on organization and other aspects of time management and ways to be successful in the Cyber Center. Another aspect that is unique to the high school experience is I'm aware of at least one teacher who is working on the big senior thesis paper. So for example, this teacher has allowed me to open up the space to his cyber students to have them have that support on a really culminating assignment that is required for that class. So I'm really looking forward to working and collaborating more with that teacher to help the students in whichever way I can. Students can sign up for an appointment in the Cyber Center. Again, it's open to all three of our middle schools and our high schools, so long as you are enrolled in the cyber program. Just looking for those invitations and ways to sign up. The next part that is important to know about how cyber works is because of its asynchronous nature, our cyber student orientation is going to be done primarily this way. And that first point of orientation is going to be on Schoology. Besides being cyber coach, I am also all of our cyber programs homeroom teachers, where we'll talk about attendance in a little bit here. But on the Schoology page, in the Schoology homeroom, there is a orientation to help with getting used to Schoology, getting used to how to submit assignments and to use many of the features that can help make the learning a great place to be. The next time or the next part that we work on is the cyber time management, like I alluded to. Because cyber is not on a set schedule like the regular school day, students are required to check into Schoology daily, make sure that the space that they're working in is one that they can be sustainable for that period of time during their learning. We work on how a workload works on a given time, whether you're experiencing work overload or not enough work. We work through that to make sure that the schedule works for you. And also knowing who's on a student's educational team, myself included, Dr. Barnello, our guidance counselors, their teachers, anybody who is here to support our students. We make sure that we go through a lot of those executive functioning aspects during this orientation period. And of course, we are very fortunate that our program is rooted within our Westchester Area School District community. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we weren't able to have a lot of in-person gatherings such as our kickoff picnic, but we are certainly hoping that conditions will improve so we can have opportunities for not just our students, but also our families connect to one another as well. Also with our staff and those physical aspects that are certainly perks to the cyber program, despite the fact that your student might be learning from home. One aspect of the cyber program as well that I want to talk about is the attendance. So like I alluded to before, there is not really a set day or a set time except for 10:45. 10:45 a.m. is when cyber students are expected to sign into that Schoology homeroom and take that little check-in quiz that I monitor. I do work very closely with all of our attendance secretaries across all 6 secondary schools. So any absences need to be forwarded to those attendance secretaries. We work in tandem to make sure that that information is recorded correctly. Besides this check-in, we do check in on work completion. Students will be expected to show that they are working throughout the week. If they are shown that they are not working up to that expectation, they may be marked absent due to non-work completion. Now, the cyber check-in quiz does account for all of your cyber courses. Now, at the high school level, because if you are full-time, this will account for those classes. If you are taking some courses in the building, those synchronous classes, if you have 4 or more cyber courses and you're taking some synchronous classes, you still will need to check into homeroom at the high school level. But those synchronous classes they may drive your schedule as to when you're doing school, because those are what are meeting live. They will be meeting in the building next year, and those are required to be attended, and they are not covered by that check-in. So just wanted to make that clear distinction about what attendance looks like there. The next part of support that we'll certainly talk about is who will my child's counselor be? Your child's counselor will be the same exact counselor who would have been assigned to them when they go to East, or they go to Henderson, or they go to Ruston. At the high school level, which is different than the middle school level. Middle school, they're broken up by grade. At the high school level, each counselor is assigned to a certain section of the alphabet. Mr. Reichel here is one of our wonderful counselors who takes on a caseload of students from grades 9 to 12 and certainly helps with aspects such as career planning and post-secondary, as well as any of the social emotional needs that could arise during your time in the cyber program. They're a very important link to us in the cyber program. I am very fortunate that I get to work with them on a regular basis to help with our student support. And speaking of support, how about you, the parents? Parents also, we certainly appreciate your support at home and know that cyber can be a learning experience for you as well. The parent support, there's going to be an orientation night for you. We're going to work through some of those executive functioning for you as well. There's a lot of things in Schoology that can be a little bit confusing, and certainly a cyber coach, I'm not only here for your students, but I'm here to help you as well, because I know, with you learning alongside with your student, your child, about this whole Schoology thing, it can be a whole new learning experience. In addition to that, we do have a parent support website. There are video tutorials for some of those basic Schoology troubleshooting and other ways to look through that. And we also have infrastructure, including our instructional technology support, the help desk, which is, I'm sure, has been very helpful in a lot of our technological woes that we may have experienced this year, as well as the Student Software Center. They can, any of those outlets can help with this fully virtual experience, and I know they're great at what they do. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Barnella to talk more about our programming.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. Again, Chelsea is an amazing attribute to our program. She comes to us with years of cyber teaching experience. She is also a graduate of the district. She graduated from Henderson, so she can share that with our students as well. I want to remind you at this time to keep checking the chat thread throughout tonight's program. Our team will be putting some links in to support some of the information that you're seeing this evening. I know Dr. Clifton just put in a few web pages as far as those parent support videos to help you just as a sampling of what parent support orientation would look like. As a reminder, we also have the bit.ly available. So at the end of tonight's presentation, we will be taking questions from our audience this evening. So you can certainly enter those in there for us to address later on tonight. So now I do want to talk about the academics of our program at the high school level. So again, as a reminder, students have the option in high school to either be a full-time cyber student or a partial cyber student. What that means is if you're full-time, you're taking most, if not all, of your courses through our Westchester Cyber program. The program is designed to allow students to meet all graduation requirements completely online. So if you're a new student, if you're currently in a cyber charter or you're in one of our brick and mortar schools and you want to finish your schooling online, that would be an option available to you. We also offer the flexibility, as we discussed earlier, for that partial day cyber. So recognizing that some students still want to be in the building and experience all those rich peer interactions, activities, athletics, all those activities that are really, those are the best memories of my own high school experience. So we want our students to explore those as well. It also allows for all different experiences and to strengthen their knowledge and experience of a cyber learner going into their post-secondary career. Many colleges and universities now do require or have students have the option to take one or more of their classes online. So this is a great opportunity for students to develop some of those executive functioning skills of time management, of workload planning in a safer environment with their support of their counselors and their high school teachers. In the coming weeks, you'll hear about our course selection process. So here you'll see the course selection timeline. I do want to be clear that we understand that we are asking you on February 2nd to make decisions about the fall for the 21-22 school year. We know that for some families, the vaccination schedule that will be shared with by the county and the state may impact your decision. So while we do have this timeline in place, I do want to stress that especially this year, we will continue to be flexible with our families. We're asking you to make a choice now as far as where you're leaning for the fall. As Dr. Sokolowski shared at the beginning of tonight's presentation, we do not anticipate remote being an option for the fall. Students will either be in person or the virtual option will be the Westchester Cyber program. Throughout the rest of the winter and into early spring, you will have opportunities to revisit the decision you're making for your student. One of the ways that you can verify what class your students are in is by looking at the parent portal. So what you'll see here is a screenshot that shows some of our 9th grade social studies class. So our African Asian cultures class, you'll see that we do have the different levels. And what you can also notice is that the course number, all of our cyber classes start with the letter C. So once we get into that parent verification window where you're able to see the recommended levels that the teachers are making recommendations on this week and next for your child, you'll also be able to verify if that class is in person or in cyber. And again, that course number that starts with a C would indicate a cyber offering. If you would like to change your selection, you can reach out either to myself or your child's counselor, and we would be able to initiate that process for you. We also want to address some of the questions that often come to us about the Westchester Cyber program. So our first question is about our world language offerings. As you may know, in our buildings, we do offer a variety of languages. However, in the cyber program, we do limit our students to Spanish and French. Again, students who want to take Latin, German, or Italian are able to take that in building, but the expectation would be that they would have to report to their home building for that class. I would work with the family and the student, as well as their counselor, to build a schedule that would accommodate either a late arrival or early dismissal to account for some of those blended and in-person classes. I do want to also pause for a moment to have Ms. Mara Claffey, one of our Westchester Cyber Spanish teachers, discuss with you more about our world language offerings.
The world language courses offered by Westchester Cyber are unlike any program or app that you could purchase for your child. As seasoned language educators and world travelers, we provide an individualized experience that meets the needs of each student. The flexibility of the Cyber program also allows students to navigate through the courses at their own pace, while also always having the opportunity to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing in that target language. The feedback we provide as instructors is always detailed, specific, and culturally relevant so that students can get up from their computers and use the language immediately in their community or through travel. The Cyber format also permits a lot of self-correction and revision, which is, in my opinion, a vital component of language learning. And instructors and peers communicate in the target language while developing also those technological skills in that target language as well. We are currently very lucky to be able to provide French and Spanish courses in Westchester Cyber, but we look forward to adding more courses as interest increases. Hasta luego.
So as you can see from the course requests that we received for the current school year, actually, there's a typo there. These are the course requests for the current school year from our high school students. You can see that our program is built to be very responsive and personalized to our student interests. So we did design the program to target Spanish and French as our world languages. What you're seeing is also a sample of how our courses are provided. So with that video from the teacher to provide some basic information, some of the basic learning, but then it's supplemented through live interactions with the teacher, either through small groups, different peer interactions, group settings, and also one-on-one support through what we call our office hours. The next question that I often get is about differentiation. So in our cyber program, you'll see that the 9th grade core courses are differentiated by student level. These are the levels that the teachers are currently in the process of recommending our students for. So across the board, you can see that for 9th grade, we have 3 levels: CCP, college and career prep, honors, accelerated honors, and then some of the courses also are differentiated by the grade levels that students are able to take their course. As we make the recommendation, your child will be recommended into the appropriate level that the teacher is recommending for the following school year based upon their sequence and their coursework. If you have questions about the level that your student is being recommended for, you can certainly reach out to the content area teacher and/or the counselor or myself, and we can provide you that information. Just like in our brick and mortar setting, we do aim to have a full section at each level. However, sometimes our enrollments are very low. And at that point, we would be very deliberate as far as consolidating some of those sections and grouping similar students together, but we would still personalize the learning for the students at that appropriate level. So if we did have to make a blend of CCP and honors students, the teacher has the ability in Schoology to assign certain work only to certain students without the other students seeing that work. So in social studies, they might get different primary source documents, different scaffolded supported materials to help them navigate through some of the content, or different reading passages. And those are some of the tools that we have built in within Schoology to support and personalize the learning of all of our cyber students. Another question is often about science labs. Some of the parents have asked me, like, okay, my student's going into chemistry. Am I going to need to have an entire chemistry lab in my kitchen? The answer is most assuredly not. We have a variety of different tools that our science department uses to support the different content areas. In the chat thread right now is one of our bio labs, and it's a sample lab through the company called Gizmos, and that's a DNA simulation lab. And what you'll notice is that our students do still get that rich lab experience, but through the simulation. Students, this is one of those times where they might have the opportunity to go into the building. Some of our students do opt to take their science labs in person. So that would be the full science class. The lecture and lab would have to be in person if that was what you were opting for, or it would be completely online. Again, if students need support, they could go to the building where their science teacher is and get some of that lab support. But also what we're noticing is that at the university level, many schools are also opting for virtual labs for a variety of reasons: accessibility to materials, safety for their students, and also for financial reasons as well. So having a virtual lab experience will again just enrich and prepare students for what they're likely going to encounter at the collegiate level. The next question is often about students with IEPs, 504 plans, or English language learners. So we have a video here from Ms. Sam Thompson, who is our high school case manager for our students with IEPs in our cyber program. And I'm going to let her share some of the supports that we have in place.
Hi, my name is Samantha Thompson, and I am the special education teacher for the high school cyber program. Don't worry, if your child has an IEP or a 504 plan, they will receive services similar to the ones that they received in the regular school setting. We offer a few different types of services. We offer direct instruction English, direct instruction math, study skills, and strategies, just to name a few. These classes would be offered synchronously. That means your child would attend 2 to 3 times a week a live Zoom session with other students and their teacher. They get to work through planning, they get to talk about how they're feeling about their classes, any frustrations. It's a really great time for collaboration, along with little mini lessons on how to help them with their executive functioning skills or their emotional strategies. I look forward to speaking with you, and please let me know if you have any further questions about the special education cyber program. Thank you.
Ms. Thompson is another one of our colleagues here in the cyber program that I get to work with on a regular basis. And as she alluded to, our students who need that support, we tag team that to make sure that they're getting all the supports that they need in the cyber program. So the next topic that we're going to discuss is what social opportunities are available to cyber students. Listed here are the names of and emails of the athletic directors at each of the high schools. We do operate under the working of our activities at the school level, where our students in the cyber program are able to participate in activities, whether they be sports, whether they be clubs, or the music ensembles that they go through. I do my best to list as many of these opportunities that come from our building principals in the cyber homeroom, just so our students have that opportunity to know what's available to them. Of course, many of our organizations at the high school level have gone virtual this year. If you're currently a cyber student and you're still looking for some of those opportunities that are happening in your home school, definitely take a look into homeroom. There is some information posted there. And besides being social in the extracurricular sense, we also have the ability to be good citizens and be volunteers. Again, we're very fortunate that our program does lie within the Westchester community. Part of our initiative to help students become great citizens in our community is to provide these volunteer opportunities. This was an opportunity that was presented to our Student Leadership Committee, which is a committee comprised of students to give their voice to the improvement and betterment of our cyber program. This event that they participated happened to be in person, but it was socially distanced. We were able to get a few families to join us, which was great. And this is the Greater Westchester Chamber of Commerce Hanging of the Greens event. This is the time in November where volunteers are tasked with putting greens all over town, from the shops and restaurants to any of the local businesses, to help make the town festive right before what would have been the Westchester Christmas Parade. So we are looking for more volunteer opportunities for our students, and certainly other students to join our Student Leadership Committee to make sure that we're giving them opportunities to help within the community and give both a volunteer and social opportunity to connect as well. And then, of course, a very timely question that we get: are there snow days in the cyber program? And I'm grateful that we, as of yesterday, were able to speak on this. So yesterday was a true snow day. When Dr. Scanlon called it snow day, what that means for cyber students is that they are not required to take attendance for that day. So for full-time cyber students, that would mean that you're not required to do that check-in quiz. For part-time cyber students, that means that you're not required to do that check-in quiz for your cyber courses, but also you obviously would probably have a decent enough reason not to need to be in the building for that day. We do follow the Westchester Area School District calendar. So any weather-related delays, early dismissals, and closures, we would send out communication to you about that. Again, if you're part of the Westchester Cyber Program and you're in my cyber homeroom, I do my best to continually give out that information, but your home schools will also provide that information as well. The 2021-22 calendar has been approved by the school board at this point, so that is available for you on your website. And of course, with cyber, if you are looking for that flexibility and you know of these days that are available to have a little bit of leeway, maybe like a long weekend or something, definitely take a look at that. For planned absences, those still go through the school. So there are times where you will still need to put in for those planned absences, but sicknesses and any kind of things that come up, those would go through me and also the attendance secretary. So are there snow days in the cyber program? Quick answer is yes, but it looks a little bit different than snow days that we're used to. And so I'll toss it back to Dr. Barnella to finish up the presentation portion before we get to questions.
Thank you so much. Again, the major focus we want to strike here tonight is that the cyber program does offer that great level of flexibility for all of the students in the Westchester Area School District. So students who want to take a fully online program to have that flexibility throughout the entire school year and to meet all their graduation requirements are able to do so. And students who just want that experience or maybe the flexibility to start their day a little bit later or end their academic day a little bit earlier would also have that ability. So to wrap up our program, I just want to share with you the next steps to enroll in the Westchester Cyber Program. Students who are new to the Westchester Area School District, if you're currently attending a different school, or if you're a family looking to move into the Westchester Area School District, you go to our website, WCASD.net, and look for the icon, the new student registration. From there, you'll go through a series of questions that is then fed to your home building based upon your address. At that point, a counselor or administrator will reach out to you to finalize the registration process and to begin the course selection procedures. As you go through the course selection, you would just let your counselor know that you're interested in taking either some or all of your classes in our online cyber format. If you're currently enrolled in the Westchester Area School District, if you're a current cyber student, you should have received a form from me last week to indicate your preference for next school year, whether it be in person, fully online, or a partial program where some of your classes would be cyber and some would not. If you're not currently in the cyber program, but you are considering it, knowing that we're not going to have that remote option available to families next year, then you would want to communicate that information either to your counselor and or myself. That way we can make sure that your child is registered for the appropriate classes for the 21-22 school year. Again, once the parent portal opens up for families to review the course recommendations and for students to select their electives for next year, you can see what classes are recommended for in-person and cyber with that cyber course number starting with the letter C. At this time, that's the end of our presentation, so we are going to start to take some of the questions from our audience. So Dr. Clifton, do we have any questions from tonight?
We do have a few questions. First talks about leveling. If a level is recommended by a teacher, can parents ultimately decide which level their children can be signed up for?
Absolutely, and that's the same in cyber and brick and mortar. So while we do make that recommendation, it is a professional conversation and one that we definitely want to engage all of our family in. And certainly students who feel ready to challenge themselves to level up to the next appropriate level, we would welcome them to do that, and we would be able to provide them support so that they are able to transition smoothly to a different level.
Along that same vein, do any of the courses lead you to AP level courses?
Yes, and we do offer AP courses within our cyber program as well. We have quite a few, so we can put the link for our course catalog in the chat thread again. But in our course catalog for this year, The brick and mortar catalog are comprehensive courses that every course that we do have available in the Westchester Area School District. You can see which ones are offered in the cyber program with a C icon, and that's described in the program. Students who want a fully online program, you can look just at the cyber course catalog itself, and that'll limit to just the courses that are completely offered online.
Thank you. And I just dropped that in the chat.
Thank you.
Throughout the cyber program, can you talk a little bit more about chances that kids have to socialize with their friends and classmates?
Absolutely. So again, like Ms. Samaroni alluded to earlier, this year was definitely unusual. Many of the things that we had planned for our social interactions, we were not able to do just because of social distancing guidelines and access to different places. So we certainly would love to take our students on field trips, to have them participate at the Cyber Center in collaborative groups on group projects, to do debate prep and different activities. This year, we were not able to do all of the things that we had planned solely because of the global pandemic that our community is experiencing. We do have some social opportunities that we are working with our student leadership group. They are a great group of future leaders who are planning different activities for this winter and spring to engage our students in virtual settings. So more information about those opportunities will be forthcoming. But certainly we do plan at this time to have our kickoff picnic in August with anticipation that, you know, our situation will be much improved by then.
And the last question is, if I choose full cyber for next academic year, will I be able to change to full in-person program during the next academic year?
Yes. So each year our course selection process starts around the same time. So each year students will be able to choose whether they want to be fully online or a blend or fully in person. And certainly during this season next year, you'd be able to make that decision for the 22-23 school year.
Those are the only questions that we have.
Great, thank you so much. As a reminder to everyone joining us tonight, you can reach me, Dr. Kristen Varnello. My contact information is on our website. We also have a wccyber@wcasd.net email address that's activated for all of your cyber questions and any clarification that you need. Tonight's presentation is being recorded and we will post it to our website tomorrow. So that's wcasd.net. So if you want to review any of the information that was shared with you tonight, or if you want to share the information with any other families that you think you might be interested in the Westchester Cyber Program, I would encourage you to do so. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I look forward to working with your students in the Westchester Cyber Program. Have a wonderful evening.